Before I begin my study on the captivity, yesterday I was on TikTok and I spoke about the captivities. It's clear that Manasseh's captivity, which was something that was going on to just explain the cleanup of the bodies of the temples of the priests. Also, I think it is something that was going on to repeat history to the very latter. Manasseh's captivity that took place from 2021 to 2024 um, has ended. And the ending of Manasseh's captivity means Manasseh being represented by Judah and Benjamin is the nation that is known as the Glorious Land, and that is America. So the the messages that have been running for this specific time came from Jeff Pippinger, and Jeff Pippinger is a man in America. And though I was also included because I came in just at the last hour with my messages to enter as Queen of Famine for America. So I am included in that um, captivity of Manasseh. So when it ends as it has ended now, um, and we have been going through a restoration since um, probably the end of 2024. Probably restoration started towards the ending of 2024 to prepare for 2025 and onwards throughout our lifetimes till Christ comes back, of course. Hoshea's captivity never gets restored. Hoshea never gets restored back, so the captivity never ends. And there were two countries that were competing in these captivities. It was America and South Africa. So South Africa was representing the world, and America is representing America as a glorious land. So in these captivities, America was unfortunately taken into captivity by South Africa, and ultimately from first South Africa, then the rest of the world, America was taken into captivity. So now that that captivity has ended and we are restored back, and I say we, I am living in South Africa, um, but I was included because I was in Jeff's movement. So everyone is who is in Jeff's movement and everyone who has messages called to work is included. So I was included in the captivity of America as Queen of Famine for America. So with my messages coming straight from Jeff, I became the the person who with my messages also was included, but also I think my messages played a part in just laying out a few things that was going on during the captivity. So um, I think when I go now, I go and I think the plan now is that with the captivity itself, I should then go and be restored. And it seems America's my home. So one person can say something like, "What happened really?" South African, but um, I think with the messages, having messages right before the beginning of Manasseh's captivity meant that I was going to be a part of the captivity. I'm included in the captivity with the Taliban insurgency, the civil unrest, um, and Israel and Gaza war with the Ukraine and Russia war. So these are things that I think Jeff would have been doing. He wasn't done with July 18th. but he should have gone over and also had messages with these events. But unfortunately, Jeff doesn't eat in that avenue. He doesn't eat in that avenue. He's not an insect. So I came in and I became he's a moth. He's message of the hour messenger, and I'm message of the hour insect. So um, in this division, then America takes both the moth messengers and moth insects, and both the white, Jeff is white, and I'm the black part of this. And so America takes both, and we both went into um, our our cleansing of the temple, being the cleansing of the bodily temple. And I don't know if I was the site for that. I'm not sure, but I think then the call now is that South Africa is going through the captivity of Hosea, and then from South Africa to the rest of the world, that's what's going on right now. And with what's going on right now, this means many things. The first thing is that yeah, this is the captivity. Um, the first thing that it means is that Democrats and Republicans in America have different views. People who are foreigners will find it very hard to enter into America because America is very strong now, financially stable, very stable now. Maybe in the 4 years during the captivity of Manas, it was very shaky, very, very shaky in its economy. But now, America is back on track and they're going to be very stable. That means America's going to hide away from the rest of the world because they don't really need much from the world, as it were. Secondly, they are not going to collaborate too much with the world, because they will start to do things right in America. And thirdly, they're going to close the borders for foreigners to come in because they want to keep themselves pure. And so they're not really open to a lot of foreign, um, I guess it is foreign. I guess, what is it? It's collaboration, but it has a word. But they're not really open to that. And so you find that many Democrats in America are going to start moving out. Democrats believe a lot in stuff like slavery and collaborations and foreign stuff. So they want to move out, and it is very favorable for them to do that. They move out with a currency that is very high, very strong, and the rest of the world is just interested to have a hold on that currency. So they come out and they seem to have more opportunities, more food, more ideas as to how other people in the world can um, have a better living, have a better life. And they even come and they, as Democrats, they go and look for women in other countries. So I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican. So being a Republican was um, who was who was under captivity with America means a lot of things for me. Okay, so as a Republican, I don't believe in slavery. I am anti-slavery. Um, I don't like slavery. So when I study about slavery in history, I do talk about what happened and so on. When I just share about history, as I am a person who deals with history a lot in my prophetic messages. But I'm anti-slavery, so this then means that for me, I need to start looking into America, because if I look into other countries, it just feels like I'm trying to hold them up. I'm trying to enslave them. I'm not a Democrat, so that is not something that brings me joy and excitement. Bullying other people is to enslave them. So I think because of that, I am starting to look. In fact, from today, I was listening to the Afrikaans radio station in here in South Africa, and I have to kind of seize um, all of those activities and separate myself from that. Yesterday, I was on TikTok and I was sharing my studies on TikTok, and I have to stop those activities and leave those accounts on TikTok. It is okay if those accounts are there. But when I go now to TikTok and I go live and everything, there are many things that that influence on TikTok can is pushing. In fact, it's as if I'm there to make war because I'm not a Democrat. And also, I was in the captivity with America. So as it stands, it's like I'm American. So it's like I'm going there to make war with TikTok. It looks like I'm there to loot on TikTok, because it seems like my views are getting high, high, very high. And so it seems as if I'm there to loot on views, loot on money on TikTok. I'm there to make war. It's just like petty things. But um, you understand, China is in captivity also. China's not America, so China's in captivity. Middle East is in captivity. Um, Shaken country is in captivity, and King Charles is in trouble. He is in trouble. Um, so I can understand what is going on. Hello, everyone who's just come in. You can understand what is going on. It's like people now go to America, and whoever it is that was in captivity with America, um, America doesn't go to the people. Otherwise, people start saying, "Oh, you are holding us in captivity." But Democrats, they go. It's much more favorable because they are going to hold them captivity. Can get wise in captivity. So it's like making them cheap, getting them cheap, all of that. So um, I'm considering many things. Um, just thinking, does my high school even just I think, will my high school put me somewhere? How goes my high school certificate to America? It seems on Google, not really. And I have to still go and study GED. Start from the beginning. I'm 31 years old. Okay. I went through two I went through 2 degrees, and I was studying at Black majority universities, two Black majority universities, and I studied 2 degrees, but I didn't complete them. And I don't know if that actually helps. My stream is about stand upon and heap. I'm actually doing a Bible study, but my Bible study is based on world events, so I happen to share a lot that's going on in the world, especially if it affects me, like the captivities right now. Hello, everyone who's just come in. Welcome to my live. So, guys, you can imagine, and I'm just thinking, what are the foreigners doing? What are they doing in America right now? It's like, thank you. It's like, oh my goodness. I only just imagine because it must be hard. Must be really hard. Um, Last year I decided in our restoration I'm gonna go to Walter Sisulu University. Walter Sisulu University is black majority, but it's one of the institutions Democrats in America have helped over the years, promoted with their financial support. And I was there and I saw MIT was there also, but they just kept doing talks and talks, which I never went to, but I saw with the invitations that they were there. So I just know that the Democrats are having a lot of fun, and till Christ comes back, the sky's the limit, of course. As for me, I am really dying. I'm dying to go to a land I've never been to. Never been to America. I don't know. I do have an American friend. I was on Tango and I got an American friend. I've seen American people with Jeff, Clayton, when they came to visit during the times we were planning a camp meeting. So just I'm just so excited for this journey. Um, it also means that while I'm in South Africa, um, obviously there's a separation of black majority, white majority. So I was talking about black majority and white majority the other day. And I was thinking of moving white majority areas. Um, but it seems the white majority areas were also a part of the captivity. So it's very clear God's intentions with me, that South Africa and Africa becomes the darkness. And so my messages come in and they're talking about this darkness and wickedness and everything. And the work actually takes place from Africa and South Africa to the rest of the world in the works that have to do with the cleansing of the temples, and also um, the works that have to do with the destructions, the eating, and everything. So God's very clear with His intentions. Whether my messages have to do with that, there actually are light with the prophetic methodology. It is light. It's very righteous messages. So God is separating me from the actual work that they are predicting, even if um, I do predict that this is what's going on. So the other day, I was on Badu. Guys, I studied programming at Harvard, but I'm not really so tech savvy. I'm very old fashioned. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, how many photos should I post here? So they see me. They must see me. So I posted 60 photos. So I could do, they must see me very well. I posted 60 photos and I went on Tinder also. And it's like, but I cannot afford Tinder. So it's like, oh, it's unfortunate. So, yeah, I am South African. I am South African. But I guess I'm going to soon to be. I don't know. Maybe I'll be going to America sometime. I can work in American entities, YouTube and um, Facebook. I can work in entities, and I guess what's nice about captivities is that things come cheaper. So I'm living in South Africa, and I was in the captivity with America. So um, things come cheaper, but obviously, being a Republican, it just makes me feel embarrassed. Like it feels like I'm looting, like I'm in a war and I'm looting. But yeah, things come cheaper, so I'm looking forward to the real estate, maybe investment. I'm looking forward to all of that once my business just grows. Also, the growth of my businesses. My business online, you guys know I crochet. I'm a content creator. So my business grows and I can look into other avenues also. And I'm looking forward to that as this does show that it's something that happens in a very short time. So I don't have to worry about sitting years and years and years. Um, yeah, so guys, so guys, I'm so excited. Honestly, I'm very excited. Um, I'm trying to be as safe as possible. So I'm just, as long as I have my focus on America, I know American companies, Facebooks, YouTubes, um, stick to those. As I've stopped on TikTok, I think that is fine. I'm on Snapchat, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I'm working. So I think that's good. I hope that helps you guys also to like know where you stand in these things at least. I was going to talk about stand upon and keep, and this is coming from Joseph chapter 13. It's 3 verse 13. Um, you saw me in church. When did you see me in church, Michael? I actually haven't gone to church now since 2023, and I'm not going to be going to I'm not going to be going to church. Yeah. Um there was this impression on me to go to as I was in Adventism in the final years of as I have 30 years to begin off in the final years 2030 to 2039 and 2040 to 2049. But I think that is impressions coming from the Democrats. Um, King Charles happens to be running with the Republicans, and I run with the Democrats. So I get a lot of impressions coming from Democrats, and they are crazy excited about these things, and they want to go and just make war for no reason, you know. Just say war, just take war, just take over, just enslave, was bully. So no, that is not something that I'm interested in. And so living in South Africa, I'm just gonna be working in American owned companies. And yeah, let's see how that goes. I'm turning to Joshua chapter 3, verse 13. I'm getting a little bit distracted in my body. I just feel aroused for no reason. I don't know why. Okay, it is Joshua 3, verse 13, and it reads, "And it shall come to pass as soon as the soles of the feet of the priests that bear the ark of the Lord of all the earth, shall rest in the waters of Jordan, that the waters of Jordan shall be cut off from the waters that come down from above, and they shall stand upon an heap." Um, so stand upon an heap is coming from Joshua chapter 3, verse 13. Um, I talk a little bit more in Stand Upon an Heap about Manasseh and Hoshea. When you read from, I think, First Kings to Chronicles, you can read about the kings. And King Saul was a king in the Bible who wanted to go and make war with the Philistines. Him to go and make war with the Philistines. He didn't call for him to do that, but he wanted to do it. Prophet Samuel, um, he has a book in First and Second Samuel that talks about how God anointed him and his reign. He told King Saul that God hasn't called you to go to war with the Philistines. Um, and King Saul wanted to go and make war with the Philistines. So what King Saul did, he went to the witches. There was a witch who was running away from King Saul because King Saul would kill witches. So now he goes around and he's looking for witches, and he goes to a very it was a very kind of quiet village far away from King Saul himself and the townspeople. And in that very quiet village, he found a very old witch. I don't think she's an old witch, but she was a witch hiding there by practicing her craft away from her getting killed by King Saul. So he finds her and he hires her. She was very shocked. She thought the time he entered into her home that he was there to kill her. But he was actually there for service. Um, he asked her to show him the prophet Elisha, the prophet Elisha, um, and she did, but it was a demon. And he wanted the prophet Elisha to appear because he wanted to ask the prophet Elisha whether or not he should go to war. So he asked the demon, and the demon lied to him and told him, "Yeah, go to war, you're gonna win. You've won so many wars before. Go to war, you're gonna win." And so King Saul, comforted by the demon telling him a lie that he wanted to hear, goes to war with the Philistines. The Philistines were actually at war with another nation the time that he goes to war with the Philistines. And so he comes in and he's warring with the Philistines while the Philistines are at war with another nation. The Philistines completely destroy him, and in embarrassment, he takes his sword and he tells his servant to kill him. And his servant says, "No, I'm not going to kill you. You're God's anointed. God anointed you to be king. I'm not going to kill you." So he takes his sword and he He asks his servant to give him a sword, and his servant gives him his sword, and he takes his sword and he lies on his sword so that as his sword just pierces through his body because of his weight. And that's how he committed suicide and died. So, um, Prophet Samuel, before King Saul does this, rends his garment. He tears his garment into twain, that's two pieces, and these two pieces were showing the two kingdoms that are gonna come from him as King Saul, and he tells him, because of what you've done, because you want to go and make war with the Philistines, God has rent, because you've gone to the witches and you want to go and make war with the Philistines, God has divided the kingdom. And so King Saul passes away and King David comes in. And King David has a son called Solomon. And when Solomon rules, he has a son called Rehoboam and an officer called Jeroboam. Jeroboam makes a fuss over Rehoboam inheriting um, the 12 tribes. And in his fuss, he goes up to the mountain and he recruits people to go up with him and he'll be king over them. And the people who went up with him were 10 tribes, and 2 tribes were left behind to be ruled by Rehoboam. So this is where these captivities coming from. Um, the 2 tribes now that were ruled by Rehoboam was Benjamin and Judah, and the 10 tribes was up the mountain. I don't know all of those tribes, but when you read the gates, the 12 gates um, of heaven in Revelations, you'll find those 10 other tribes is spoken of, and I think those tribes are the tribes that were a part of, they actually are probably the same names of the tribes that were 12 tribes together ruled by King Solomon. So in the temple, um, yes, the 2 tribes go into captivity later than the 10 tribes. The 10 tribes, when they go into captivity first, they don't get restored back. And the 2 tribes, when they go into captivity last, they get restored back. So the 2 tribes and their captivity with their restoration went into captivity with the king Manasseh. There were all sorts of different kings that ruled in the 2 tribes, and the king that went into captivity was Manasseh and was restored back. Same as the 10 kings, but the king that went into captivity for the 10 kings was Hoshea, and he was never restored back. So that is what has been going on right now. That is what I've been talking about, saying um, within the cleansing of the temples, the repetition of the captivities. And so the captivity of Manasseh took place with Judah, and Judah is America, being the glorious land. And also, I guess they are the land that had the prophetic messages for this time through Jeff Peppinger, as he's the messenger with the present truth for this time. So, in his cleansing of the temple, um, America went into a captivity as an entire country. So, from church to world, America, I mean, world in this sense and church in this sense is America as a country. So so that's what I am talking about. It's 35 minutes. I wanted to look for a verse that's talking about money and no money. But I think when it comes to the financial um, problems that have happened during the captivity, we can talk about Balaam and Balak. We can talk about because Balaam and Balak, Balaam was going on a donkey and then he hit the walls. So the hitting of the walls and him becoming crippled is showing the financial instability. And Balaam, in this sense, is America going straight to the Sunday law, as Jeff would say. And he's riding on the donkey clearly. um, he's probably using legislative and judicial authority to ride his way straight to the Sunday law. But I don't know what Jeff can say about that, whether the donkey the ass he's riding on is Islam, but another donkey is the Democratic Party. So he could be using legislative and judicial authority to ride his way to changing laws, or putting laws and policies in place to accommodate the white lady, and that is Catholicism. Um, so I have spoken before about the division between the black and the white. And so as I've just stated, guys, and I just shared with you in the beginning of my video, um, clearly God is trying to separate me. So you see me sitting at home, and last year I was really motivated to go to school. I wanted to go to WUSU and study, but that's something that a Democrat would do. God hasn't blessed that. So I did pass 50% on my modules, but I didn't continue further with that, and neither do I have motivation now after I've started focusing on my business to go back to WUSU. So WUSU and UNISA are two institutions that unfortunately I pause at this point, and I'm not gonna take up any further again in my life. And at that point, everything that I will do, as I know that I went to Harvard, and Harvard is a private institution and white majority, whether they are Democrats or Republicans, being an America white majority private institution is very perfect for me. So these are the type of places I think now I'm going to focus on, and I'm very happy I actually took the opportunity of going studying that programming course and actually putting myself within that atmosphere from a very young, well, it was about 6 years ago. So I was like 25 years old. I'm 31 now. So I'm very happy I did that from 25. Actually got that certificate at 25. So I can see a lot of opportunities, including me registering my business here in South Africa, but I know probably in America I'll get there. And with the move of becoming a citizen, a permanent citizen, and the move of then I'll have to register my another business, same business, probably register there, and I have to let go of this one. And so those are the type of things I'm looking at. The black and the white then comes in, and as I shared before, I'm on the white side of things. So I can already see now that on the white side of things, it's just me standing with America, and everyone else who is here with us, um, whether they're billionaires or they are they are in the Middle East, as Islam, or they are white people, Asian. Asian white people as the Koreans and the Philippines um, and the Chinese. They are going through a captivity, so they are not really doing well at this point in terms of standing. So these things are very important. I think very important, at least to me. So there were a lot of messages I was sharing in the 4 years, and those messages are relevant now. They are relevant now more than they've ever been. But because I'm restored back, those are not the type of things I'm going to be focusing on. Um, so I can see here the ladies in Adventism from 2021, they took me into captivity. The activities that were going on with the ladies, that was them taking me into captivity. So, excuse me, everything that was going on that I kept sharing and sharing. And when I was talking about how they're saying they're black, and they were saying that they no, they were not saying it. I don't know what I was thinking right now. It's just like kind of left, but um, the all of the things that was going on in the 4 years, 2021 to 2024, was the ladies taking me into captivity. So when they're saying they're black, or it seems like a white person, or um, it sounds like a white person, or can you hear when she says this? Oh, isn't she so super, so reformer? What is this long skirts and that? It seemed like bullying, like cyberbullying. It wasn't really cyberbullying. It was them taking me into captivity. And as they were doing it on Facebook, and Facebook's owned by Mark Zuckerberg, who is American, they knew what they were doing. So they find it very hard now. Facebook's not going to be so nice to countries that are going through captivities, but because Mark Zuckerberg is a Democrat, he's open to almost like enslaving, so that type of thing. He's open to collaborating with other countries, especially during the captivity. Democrats are excited, so many people are probably still going to be on Facebook. They're still going to work on Facebook. Things might be a little bit different with how things go. But whatever Mark Zuckerberg decides he's going to do to um, in this captivity, he's going to do it. And people who are in the countries that are going through captivities might find things a little bit different in how they pay and so on. In my captivity, my account was blocked. So even if I was posting, it was monitored. I was checked regularly. My videos had no views. And I was just posting for just the sake of posting. But no one actually kicked me out of Facebook. I couldn't use the songs that were coming from artists. It didn't matter which one. Even if they were American, it didn't matter. And that's the thing with captivity. People kind of decide that's how they're gonna do things. There were many things that are happening during my captivity, but so as I'm saying, um, the Democrats can decide, oh, this is what they're gonna do in the captivity. and this is how they're gonna do things generally, and that's what they're gonna do. So um, I'm just like paging through right quick. I'm a little bit unstable in my head because of the captivity. The restoration is not really complete. So I've given it about 5 years, as I recognize that from the turning point of 2025 to about 2030, the restoration's gonna be fully complete. So I'll just continue sharing my studies until the restoration's complete, and then after that I'll be sharing my studies, but not in this form. Right now, I'm like paging through my book, and then I'm even wondering why I'm not paging through. I don't know. I'm doing it anyway. Like this page, you know. And yeah, it is somewhere else. My mind is somewhere else. As I finally page up through my book. The page past the page I actually am using because my mind is not here. It is not here. But it will be here soon. I'll wake up one day and I'll be like, I have a boyfriend. He's American. Since when? Since when? Oh, because I'm not home yet. It's like 2%. It's loading, processing. But it's gonna come. It's gonna come. Um, the other day on TikTok, I spoke about insects, and I don't think I did spend a lot of my time here on YouTube sharing about insects. So it's like 12 minutes left, and let me share a little bit about insects. I'm gonna turn to the book of Joel, chapter 1. The book of Joel, chapter 1, verse 1 to 4 reads, The word of the Lord that came to Joel the son of Pethuel. Hear this, ye old men, and give ear, all ye inhabitants of the land. Had this been in your days, or even in the days of your fathers, tell ye your children of it, and let your children tell their children and their children another generation. That which the palmerworm hath left hath the locust eaten, and that which the locust hath left hath the cankerworm eaten, and that which the cankerworm hath left hath the caterpillar eaten. So from this verse, we can already see that insects eat. The insects eat. I now am turning to the book of Exodus, chapter 8. Exodus chapter 8 is the chapter where God calls Moses and Aaron to go to Pharaoh so that Israel um, can be like let go to go. So God wanted Pharaoh to let the Israelites go out of captivity. So now I'm gonna be reading verse. I'm gonna be reading verse 16, and it reads, "And the Lord said unto Moses, Say unto Aaron, Stretch out thy rod, and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt." And I'm reading 17. And they did so, for Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod, and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man, and in beast. All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. So there were lice upon man and upon beast. So the lice here is, well, not here, but like lice generally is insects. Lice is one, I guess, and I wanna call I don't know if I wanna say entity, but like lice is an insect and it is a destructive entity. The second insect that I'm going to talk about is flies, and I read about flies from verse 21 to verse 24. "Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thy houses, and the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies, and also the ground whereon they are. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. And I will put a division between my people and thy people. Tomorrow shall this sign be." And the Lord did so, and there came a grievous swarm of flies into the house of Pharaoh, and into his servants' houses, and into all the land of Egypt. The land was corrupted by reason of the swarm of flies. So the swarm of flies is entities of destruction, and they also participate in corruption. So, another part I wanted to read is Genesis chapter 40. Genesis chapter 40 is talking about the butler and the baker in the story of Joseph. So I have 5 minutes left before the end of my life. I want to read the part where Joseph is talking about the dream, and so um okay, so the verses that I'm gonna read are talking about the dream, and I'm not gonna talk about the interpretation yet. I'm just gonna read the dream, and then we're gonna end our live. And I think tomorrow then we continue from there. So The dream begins in verse 1 and it ends in verse 7. So it reads, And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamt, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favoured kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favoured and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favoured and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favoured and fat kine. Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamt the second time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. So, hello everyone, let's just come in. So this is talking about Pharaoh's dream, and Pharaoh in his dream sees fattened kine eaten by ill-favored and lean kine. But oh, okay. So this is kine, and then the second dream is the fattened ears of corn eaten by ill-favored and lean ears of corn blasted by the east wind. So I'm talking about insects. Now I'm going to be reading Exodus chapter 10. Exodus chapter 10, verse 13, and it reads, And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night, and when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. So the east wind here brings the locusts, and the east wind blasted those ears of corn. And I think now I can talk about the interpretation of Joseph's dream, and then talk about um, the this plague tomorrow. I talk about that tomorrow. I think it's very important when I talk about this because this is exactly where we are talking about the story about the east wind and famine and um, plenty and famine. That is something that is very important. Why are you saying boo? My content is not going to be for everyone, but for those people really appreciate it, very lovely. Appreciate it too. Appreciate you appreciating me. We appreciate each other. I'm very grateful. So if my content's not for you, then please, please pass by with bad air. Keep walking. Keep walking. I don't know why I'm laughing, but yeah, like keep walking. And then you close that door. You close that door on your way out. Thank you so much, guys, for your support, and I really appreciate you coming to my live. I'm going to see you in the next one. Goodbye.